Welcome back, guys, and today we are looking at some 1/12 scale toys for your toys. Once again, folks, welcome back. This is Thomas, and I show off a lot of diorama props, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm obsessed with these Five Below teeny tinies. These are kind of more of your everyday either food or household kind of diorama props, but we like to fill out our displays with cool stuff. And as toy collectors, it's always cool to have miniature versions of the toys that we love. So today I thought I'd just kind of go over kind of what options are out there and then show you something really cool that I found recently that I'm pretty excited about. So other than these teeny tinies, which you can find a whole bunch at Five Below, there's a few other things that you can find out there that go well with action figures. So I'll take this for example, these pickleball paddles, and yep, I'm succumbed to pickleball, every millennial's midlife crisis sport that they get into. I've also gotten really into it. So I wanted to find 1/12 scale versions of these. These are a little big, but I think they'll look good with my Super Mario figures. I think they'll scale well with there, a little cartoony. So World's Coolest, I think it's a subsidiary. There's another brand called World's Smallest, and they make small dolls, small board games like Operation. So if you want to make a scene with your figures and put those in, pretty cool. But another one that is pretty popular, they're all over Target, are the mini brands, and I've purchased a lot of those. And they're blind boxes, so you never know what you're going to get. I was really just looking for the TMNT stuff, which eventually I just bought a lot of the TMNT turtle stuff because I was getting sick of buying all the mini brands and not finding the ones that I wanted. So I have a whole bunch of toys in there from mini brands. This wagon, WWE or wrestling figures, they always have great accessories. So I built my Toys R Us diorama a couple years ago, and I was looking for a shopping cart. So if you're looking for 1/12 scale accessories of just kind of like weird items like tables, chairs, shopping carts, always go to WWE. But then I'm really interested in toys that look like they could have been either toys or play sets back in the day. And I found this Castle Grayskull. I know a lot of people have this, so I kind of like to have this, even though I'm not a Motu collector. It's just kind of cool to have this in the background or a scene. I am planning on building my childhood room at some point, and even though I didn't have this, I think it's kind of that essential 80s 90s age frame where you probably would have had this, or a cousin would have had this in their bedroom. This is a mini play set. It comes with a mini figure inside. I always keep it closed, so I think Ram Man's in there. So they come with all different ones, but they also do have a Snake Mountain one of this, and I always thought that was pretty cool. So to have a Castle Grayskull to kind of pair well with your figures, that is the Super 7 Matt Cardona, so you can see how this scales. Not too shabby, it does the job. So I was excited to find this little Raphael with the old card back style on it. Pretty cool. I do think they make other ones, I'm not sure, but for the miniature style, I think this does give the look of what we're looking for. So I might have to keep an eye out for those other ones. But a couple of years ago, I found a seller on Etsy that actually sold the box for the Turtle Van. And I remember buying it quickly. I don't remember where I bought it from. And I thought it'd be really cool because if you have the Hot Wheels TMNT van, it fits right in the box. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Kind of forgot about it. And then I don't know how I started looking, but I went on Etsy and I just looked up 1/12 scale diorama props, and then these popped up, and it's from the same artist. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So there is an Etsy artist named ManzoMinis, and I'll put the link down in the description below. But this must have been where I've gotten this original Turtle Van box from, because I found it on there, and I never really took the time and looked through their page. But when I did, I started finding all these cool boxes and packaging from the 90s, the 80s, and I started buying a few, and then I had to stop myself from getting out of control. But I picked a few that I thought would be really cool in the display, especially with my Toys R Us diorama. And I picked ones that kind of had some significance in my childhood. I definitely went with the first WWF ring. We definitely put a lot of mileage on this, me and my brother, and I thought this was really cool, so I got that box there. You've already seen the TMNT Turtle Van, so it's just nice to know who the artist was to give them credit. Probably one of the most significant G.I. Joe items that I ever had was this mobile command center. This was a massive playset. It folded up into this big vehicle, but then it opened up to 3 different levels. So to kind of get a mini version of this is really cool. And I mean, he has the whole 360 look of the box, and that's just kind of the MO. It shows you the vehicle all folded up, different ways you can play with it, and then how you can open it up like on the front of the box. So this one was a staple. We actually got rid of our original one, and then when my cousin was getting rid of a bunch of his toys, we obtained another one, and then that one got donated eventually. So we've had this twice, and it slipped through our fingers. So definitely holds a special place in my heart, this one in particular. And then another probably significant playset from my childhood was the Ghostbusters Firehouse. It's funny, as a modern day collector, I don't have any Ghostbusters in the collection. I do love those Mondo ones, but they're a little too rich for my blood. But this was a great playset, and I remember using this for all sorts of things. Ghostbusters, Dick Tracy, Batman. It was just a building, right? So if you didn't want it to be Ghostbusters, you could just take the sign off and it could be anything. But really cool. It shows you all the different play features there. Again, kind of that black and white sketch on the back, and it's really cool. So awesome that he made this box. And then another one of my favorites from the mid-90s was the Creepy Crawler Workshop. This thing was so cool. Just the colors on the packaging really sold it. I think this was a super fun thing. I can still smell those fumes. Putting the liquid into the metal molds that you burn your hand on. Definitely did that a few times. I remember having a bunch of snakes, insects, but then when Batman Forever came out, I did have some Batman molds. So, and you can get really creative too. You can kind of mix the colors and try to get it as close to looking like what you want it to look like. But it was a really fun toy. Very dangerous. I'm pretty sure this was a dangerous toy. But this is one that I wanted to get. They had a whole bunch of other ones, Power Rangers, more G.I. Joe, more Turtles, but I kind of had to draw the line. Now, these are all fairly inexpensive, and great idea if you just want to get the box and just kind of have a pile of them. But he does other stuff that I think is pretty sweet. And I had to tamper myself, but I did buy a few extras, and let me show you those right now. So ManzoMinis also makes 3D printed versions of some of the items, and these were just 2 of the ones that I picked up. But the Ghostbusters Firehouse and the Creepy Crawler Workshop, having these in miniature form is super cool. I was super excited to get these, and the detail is crazy. So at first glance, I mean, it has all the details I remember. The doors open, which is kind of crazy. He did sell a version that came with the Ecto 1. I didn't get it. I might get another one, or you can customize your order, so I could just order that in the future if I wanted to. But the details on the building are fantastic. I don't think they do a mini version of the sewer layer, but that would also be really fun to get. So just a really cool little miniature of the firehouse. And then you have the Creepy Crawler Workshop, which he made the trays that you can put inside. So this one looks like it has a worm on it. Pretty cool. Just goes in there. Got the colors right. And then you do get a few extra of the little pans. So this one looks like some sort of bug, and then this one has a scorpion on it. So pretty cool. And then there's just an empty one. So you get some few extras in there. So really cool. Definitely am going to be purchasing more from Manzo. You know, this one has some significance from my childhood. I remember playing with this a lot. This feature was my favorite, and this actually goes up and down, that red part. I don't have any miniature Ghostbusters, but I still wanted to get this. My brother used to take this blue part off and when we would get in fights, I would definitely see the business end of this. Not fun, but still a great playset, and probably still one of the greatest playsets I think ever made. So really cool. I would definitely go check out Manzo's Minis. Like I said, I'll put the link for his site down in the description below. On Etsy, everything is pretty reasonable. I'd say everything's priced pretty fairly, and I mean, to do all this work for this 3D printing, I mean, it's worth the price. Lots of cool items, not just limited to wrestling, G.I. Joe, or Turtles, so much other stuff, you know, just like these creeper crawlers. But, you know, I really like the idea of filling out my action figure display with miniature versions of what I used to play with as a kid. So really cool to start getting this together. I'm going to put it up on my Toys R Us display, and maybe I'll even keep this in my G.I. Joe display. I think that's pretty neat. So check Manzo out, and hope you enjoyed seeing this. Hopefully I showed you something new that you haven't seen before, and then yeah, go pick up yourself some bits of nostalgia from Manzo. So pretty awesome. All right guys, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit like and subscribe, and then we will catch you next time. Bye now.